just picked me up throughout my life and been there for them.
I know you are a maintenance guy. How has being in the maintenance career field correlated to the way you do life?
Oh man, good question. I tell you, as a maintenance guy, so I want to tell you this quick little story, right? So I never was a kid that had like a plane in my hand and did zoom, zoom, zoom. That wasn't me. So me being in maintenance was definitely not part of my identity. And so being in maintenance, one thing I learned quick was that you have got to you have got to hold your own weight, and you got to pull your weight. Because I'm on a team of three folks that got to get the job done. If I'm lacking, if I'm not on top of my game, then I am going to fail quick. And one thing that maintenance taught me early, I would tell you, is that camaraderie is important. Being a team is important. There are many jobs in the Air Force where you're working on a terminal, you're doing certain aspects of your job where you're alone. But in maintenance, we all work together. We understand what that weapons guy do, and what ammo guys, guys and gals does, and with the armament, folks that's working in armament systems, fixing the equipment, crew chiefs to specialists to even finance. We understand that everyone is part of the big picture, and that we all must come together. So I would tell you, maintenance taught me early how to be a team player. In basketball, I'm thinking now, I'm passing the ball to four people, but no, maintenance taught me that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people relying on you, and it's not about putting one ball in the goal. Sometimes when I have to go and complete a mission 2 and 3 times, or different aspects of that mission a couple of times in order to accomplish the mission. So it taught me teamwork. It taught me taking care of people, because maintenance folks, they are very open and honest and candid. So if I don't care what rank you hold, and you go up into a maintenance individual, a maintenance person, and you say, hey, I have a question for you. Be ready for an honest answer. And if you're not, don't ask the question. But it taught me honesty. It taught me how to be real up front. It taught me how to be candid. It taught me how not to sugarcoat, because people don't want that. That's not what we're about.
When I was a high school student, I was terrified of joining the military. And I thought everybody that joined the United States Air Force either had to fly a plane or work on a plane while it was flying. What advice would you give a high school student or their parent about joining the military to kind of get rid of that fear?
I would tell you the fear is always going to be there. Some fear of the unknown. What I would challenge them to do is look at themselves and see if they're capable. If you're willing to do something bigger than yourself, you're willing to be a part of something bigger than you. If you're really ready to understand what service before self is about, and actually doing something that will bring smiles upon people in the world, I would tell you, then challenge yourself to be a part of an organization, to be a part of an enterprise that brings freedom around the world. And if you're not liking how that sounds, then maybe it's just not for you. We talk about numbers and how less than 1% get to do what we do. And I can go into high school right now, and I can tell you that I can look at some folks, and I would say that, yeah, you might be capable, you might have the physical talent, but do you have the mental talent? Do you have the mental fortitude to get through this and really be part of what we are about? Fear is going to be there, but I would just say, I want you to challenge yourself and fight through that fear. And do you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, bigger than anything you're probably going to do in your life? And then I would ask you to take a step forward.
For any high school students that are even thinking about it, you can do it. And I'm living proof of that. I barely graduated high school. I had like a 1 point something. I am a college dropout, and I got myself together, put my grind in, and now I'm a captain in the United States Air Force. So if I can do it, for anybody to listen to this right now, whether you're a high school student, whether you're a parent of a high school student, your child can do it. And I'm living proof of that. So Chief, last thing, and we're going to wrap this thing up. How should leaders add value to the people that they have the absolute privilege of leading?
I would say you add value. I'm going to go to a post that Chief Master Sergeant Joanne Bass posted. You can say things all day, but what everyone around is looking for you is to be an executor. I can tell you, my organization, I push this every single day about family time and about getting home on time and not spending all your time at work. And I remember one of my trusted CNCOs walked up to me and said, Chief, you need to be following your own advice. You're here 14, 15 hours. And just those small things, just like that, even though I'm spending a little more extra time at work, I'm not doing what I'm asking them to do. So if I'm not doing what I'm asking them to do, so why should they hold what I say as credible advice or things that, because they see me there, so they should be there also, right? So my answer to that is just be credible. If you say it, do it. If you can't do it, don't say it. If somehow you mess up, own it, own it. I've worked for some leaders in the past who have made mistakes, and we've realized that a mistake was made. They would never come to you and say, hey, I made this mistake. And let me tell you, that's the worst thing we can do in a leadership position. Own that mistake and go to them, even if it's 10 months later. Go to them and say, hey, I made this mistake and I need to correct it, or at least apologize, and be an executor and watch the trust you build in an organization.
So Chief Master Sergeant Joanne Bass, 2nd Air Force, I think that was an invitation you just gave her.
She's the best to do it. She's been a mentor to me for a very long time, man. I tell you, and I know you can do the same thing. And when you start looking at the circle of people who will call you on a Tuesday night, and say, hey, no, I don't want to talk. Now I want to be on FaceTime so I can see you, so we can have this conversation eyeball to eyeball. That tells you, man, you in good company. I can name 100 folks, from Chief Simmons to just, I'm gonna throw some airmen out there. My mentors aren't all chiefs. I got some senior airmen who are my mentors right now. I got some civilians, some GSs, some who are mentors to me right now, because I ain't got this thing figured out. I don't. I just love the fact that no matter what, I wake up every day with a sense of purpose and a sense of wanting to get better and wanting to grow.
Chief, before we wrap this thing up, I just want to say thank you again for spending time with us and giving us all this amazing advice. The floor is yours. Give them that mic drop moment, wrap it up, and we're going to put a bow on it and get up out of here.
Man, if I can give one last bit of advice, or at least closing this out, I would say, whether we're dealing with the COVID, or we're dealing with mold in a dormitory, or we're dealing with manning in an organization, if we're dealing with personal things in our life, the one thing that I always fall back on is what you're committed to. And this is one that I love getting on, this C word, this commitment. We will spend time and money on the things that we want. I can have $5 in my pocket right now, and I will find a way to get the things I want, to get the things that I feel I need. And that's what we do, right? That's what we do as human beings. What I tell folks is just know what you're committed to. And maybe you're not committed to the people around you. Maybe you're committed to self. Well, just know that if you're not committed to the people around you, then they're not going to be committed to you. I always ask folks, just know what you're committed to, but also be able to adjust what you're committed to, because there are a couple of people around you who are committed to you and you don't even know. There's an organization of folks that's committed to you right now, but as soon as they see that you're not committed to them, that their level of commitment will change. So adjust your commitment, know what your commitment is on and what's it about, and know your reach. If I'm sitting as a senior airman with 40 A1Cs below me, understand that there are 40 A1Cs looking at you right now as a senior airman, and they want to be just like you. When you were a lieutenant, you were looking at those captains and you were saying, I want to be a captain. I want to be a captain. I want to be a captain. And, and every captain that walked by with those bars, you were like, oh man, I can't wait to be a captain. Well, just think about it right now. You got 1,000, couple thousand new Space Force airmen now from last week, right? Looking at you right now saying, I want to be a captain. I want to be just like you. It's not about us. If our commitment isn't to the things around us that we say, part of our core values that we want to be a part of, then we have to level up. Level up your commitment, know what you're about, know what your expectations are, and some of those expectations need to get a little higher or need to grow out a little further. That's my last piece.